we're going to dive into just a little bit more on what we can expect from, the coach firing and hiring cycle that's about to begin in the NFL. And then we're launching straight into picks, baby.
I have something for you before we do NFL coaches.
Oh, no. What could it be?
Did you see these reports of Bill Belichick interviewing for North
That,
Carolina?
that's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah. I wish
Like,
we like I'm not going to say too much because I don't know anything about the college realm. We have our specialist for that has kids to deal with. Um, but I just wanted to make sure that I want to mention that we noticed that and we are intrigued.
we are intrigued. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Scott is our college expert. I know North Carolina is a huge job. And that's a huge opening that's got a lot of big names from the coaching world interested. I really truly did not expect Bill Belichick to have interest in a college job, unless he's just interviewing with them just to get his name back out there and to show
Yeah.
he's serious about getting there. God, he would be a very unfun coach to have in college. Unless
Kind of
unless
needed though.
I am interested by the new Belichick whenever he does appear, or I'm sure he's going to have a coaching job next season. But this new media trained Bill Belichick, I wonder,
Yeah.
because I enjoy him on Manning Cast, I enjoy him in commercials. I liked him on the Tom Brady roast. Will I
Sassy.
wonder? I wonder if we'll get any of that personality of Belichick back, or if it's just going to go back to ripped sleeves. We're on to Cincinnati, Belichick, starting next year again, which will make me sad. It'll almost feel like we need to have like a little memorial tribute to media Belichick.
True.
Yeah. Zoo, Matt Eberflus was fired. And like I already said on Tuesday,
Oh.
Caleb Williams got him fired. I don't care what anybody says. Caleb got him fired. With Matt Eberflus's firing from the Chicago Bears, we now have 3 open NFL head coaching spots. That is Chicago, New York Jets, and the New Orleans Saints. There's plenty more expected to come. I think the Las Vegas Raiders will be a spot. The New York Giants will probably be a spot. Um, I don't think the Panthers will do it to Canales. He's been having a good rebound here. But we will have more open spots as we get towards the end of the season. Of the current 3, of the Saints, the Jets, the Bears, which is the best situation you think if you were going to be a coach going into this cycle?
So I'm on tankathon.com looking at the draft order if the NFL were to end today. And it kind of confirmed that I believe that the Jets would be the best bet. The reason that the owner got as involved as he did was because there was such a high profile name in Aaron Rodgers and all the assets that they had to give up to get him and to, cater to his every need. The Jets have an opportunity to really start from scratch and still have a lot of good foundational pieces to work with on their defense and offense. There before Sauce Gardner's and why am I forgetting the wide receiver's name? I was hoping it would come to me. Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson. Before it's time for their contracts, like you still have like the opportunity to take advantage of like rookie deal and have some money to play around with. But they at this point in time would have the number 6 pick. You have top 10 pick to grab somebody good with, whether it be your quarterback or the offensive lineman that somebody needs desperately, or just best pick available, or even go back and get some more draft capital. But I think the coach that were to come in has a lot of resources to work in, whether it is trading the assets that you have for other people and starting really from scratch, or taking the foundation that you do have to build on. It is a clean situation for them to start off with.
I can't disagree too much on that. If I had to look at it right now, if you want to be, just completely in charge of something brand new and you're going to make this all your own, New Orleans Saints is an opportunity. Like that's a spot.
Is this the last year for Carr?
It's probably the last year for Carr. It's probably the last year for a lot of people, simply because they've been kicking the can on salary cap hell for years now, since Sean Payton was there, because they just had this assumption that they can, keep everything going and keep being a playoff contender even
We're
without.
almost there, guys.
We're
almost
almost
there.
there. We're one piece away, and that one piece away keeps putting them like millions and millions and millions more into salary cap purgatory, which we've talked about it. The salary cap is almost, it's whatever you want it to be, basically. But the Saints are going to have to pay at some point, and this is the time to do a full, true rebuild. And they're going to have to cut a lot of good dudes. Cam Jordan will probably retire. I don't know if Olave is even going to want to stay there. It seems the last time he had his comments when he had his last concussion, if he can continue to play, was why continue to do it here? Why do it here? So
I could see him getting franchise tagged.
I could see that too. Alvin Kamara, running back, he's still having a good season, but it might be time to go. Taysom Hill is probably done after this knee injury. So Saints are there if you want a full rebuild. Jets.
See, that's full rebuild, right? Like you still
Right.
have to start from scratch, and like you're going with the draft picks that you have, and then like some bit of free agency. Whereas like still that doesn't like top my argument of the Jets of having like a lot more play space with cap room and excuse me,
Good one.
with cap space and just like offensive and defensive weapons to work with.
I'll just let you.
To the person who commented saying that all the stuff gets left in, I hope you enjoyed that.
I just let him drown on that one.
I will mute myself to blow my nose, though.
You're not wrong on that. The only thing with the Jets that I would be scared of as a coach is the owner in Woody Johnson. And you have an opportunity for Woody to be gone here for, I would say, 4 years now that Donald Trump has taken back the presidency. Woody Johnson, owner of the Jets, was an ambassador for Trump to the UK. I think he was the foreign ambassador to the UK for under the Trump administration. So it's a high expectation that Woody's going to do that again, get some type of ambassador position again, and would basically save the Jets. Jets fans are hoping for this. They're praying for it, and that his brother takes over. But I don't like the family dynamics of it. I don't like the meddlesome owner. I don't like that Woody's son, his 17-year-old son, Brick, has been playing de facto GM apparently and giving suggestions that the team has been taking like it's a Madden franchise. And with it being the Jets, when chaos happens and drama happens, like you have really great talents there in Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. Sauce has had kind of a down year, and I would not be surprised whatsoever if Sauce goes the way of so many other great Jets legends and requests a trade to try and get out of that team or causes some drama to get out of there. Garrett Wilson has been like a really level-headed dude. Could attempt the same, but I don't see that from him. And then you don't know what's happening with Rodgers. You don't know what's happening with Rodgers. Rodgers is saying that he'd like to play again next year, but they don't know. And the reports are saying that he probably won't be with the Jets. Woody Johnson doesn't like to seem like Rodgers. And with how much meddling it went into with the GM and the head coach, I don't know. I wouldn't like the Jet spot if I was out there, but it's also New York. It's an opportunity. Somebody's going to go, and it'll probably be a good person. For me, it's Chicago at the moment. Chicago is the best spot to me, just because you have your franchise quarterback set in Caleb Williams. You just have to build around the kid, but there's already a decent foundation there, and I think they've built well with a semi-competent O-line, better than last year's at least, and a great receiving core with, at the very least, DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. I still believe Rome Odunze can develop. Keenan Allen is getting up there. He's lost a little bit of a step, but he's been having some great games lately, and Cole Kmet is a great tight end. So your offense, you have a good shot there. Defense has been overperforming this season, especially led by, some great trade assets in Montez Sweat. They're finally going to get their draft picks this coming season, after the trade up in the past. Or no, they've had their picks. So they're getting an opportunity. They still have picks. So they have great draft picks. They're going to have some cap space because they're playing around with a rookie quarterback and rookie quarterback money. So I like the Bears situation. And it doesn't seem like their owner's a meddlesome. Their owner is 101 years old, so she can't be too meddlesome, at least for not long. And it's a long running franchise that's about to get a new stadium and trying to get that one. I think they will give whoever their next coach is a shit ton of money, and also as much opportunity as they need to get this right. And they need to get it right. They need to swing for the fences on this one.
And that's my concern with the Bears, is that going into this season, it was, okay, we got all these pieces and we drafted Caleb. This is the year that we have to make our playoff run. That division's not getting any easier. And there was such an insanely high expectation for them to do so much better than that they are, that pressure is going to be on the new coach right away. Where it's like, hey, Eberflus couldn't do it, but nothing else has really changed over here. You have all the weapons. You better do good. Otherwise, you are going to be under a lot of pressure. What's the word I really wanted there?
Do you love what happened with the Bears, where they had an opportunity? Jim Harbaugh seemed to really want to go there. It had been rumored for a long time. He's got a good relationship with the McCaskies. He played for the Bears. He had an opportunity. He wanted to come back into NFL head coaching, and the Bears, it looked like the perfect spot. It looked like a match made in heaven, and they decided to stick it out with Matt Eberflus instead, and they're now watching Jim Harbaugh have total success with the LA Chargers. Mm-hmm. Do you think they just missed the chance completely? Is there anybody that is there anybody out there that can match what Jim Harbaugh presented as an opportunity for them?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, Cliff Kingsbury was a big thing just because of the relationship with Caleb at USC, but they should go for Ron Rivera. He's available.
Alumni, Bears alumni.
We play the NFC North next year.
This is a
revenge game.
If you look at it realistically with the Bears, this is probably what their fans are thinking.
What would Montez Sweat do?
Oh my god! Oh my god! This is what the Bears do. They're putting on a lot of. They're saying it was we're going to put all our money. We're going to put all the investment into head coach. We're going to go out. We're going to do the resources. We're going to get the fish, and they're going to wind up with Ron Rivera. Or they bring back. They get Mike Singletary. Let's get Mike Singletary in there.
Honestly, though, is that a bad spot for Bill Belichick?
No, it's really not. I think
now that I'm thinking about it,
I think it could be the spot for Belichick. Honestly, I like him there, or the Jaguars. If the Jaguars spot opens, which I think is an expectation, I like the Jaguars for him too. But honestly, you're right. Belichick is going to want to go somewhere. He's in his 70s. He's going to want to go somewhere that has a built foundation, that's ready to win. Maybe he's missing a couple pieces. Yeah, the Bears could be that perfect spot for him.
That division would be a fun challenge for him.
Yeah. Oh, he would love it. And it's a long storied franchise in a division full of long storied franchise, and he's such a historian nerd. Yeah. Oh, Zoo, we might have just locked it down. Apologies to North Carolina. We just figured out where Belichick could go.
Front.
I don't know who your top 5 would be on candidates for head coaches. You don't know either. It's okay. I got mine. We're going to dive into that. And going into it, I think that the head coaching candidates this year, it seems like there's a theme every season or every couple seasons into what you're looking for with a head coach. For a long time, it was the young offensive genius. Everybody was looking for a new Sean McVay. After that, everybody was looking for who has talked to Sean McVay, who's ever been in his presence. That person's getting a head coaching opportunity. We've gone, back and forth from defensive genius to offensive genius, or maybe college genius somewhere when, Chip Kelly was getting that huge contract from the Eagles and bringing nothing but fear to me. And then he destroyed the franchise, and I was so happy with them. I'll forever love Chip Kelly.
Keep looking at the 2013 coaching staff, the Redskins coaching staff.
Miserable. That was a theme. Yeah, if they coach, If they coached with
Still
the
a theme.
Redskins in 2013, yeah, go get them. Um, I think this year's theme is going to be culture. It's going to be for the culture. You're seeing teams are going to be looking for the standard that coaches like Dan Campbell have instilled with their long losing franchise, and he brought them into, out of obscurity and mediocrity into a team that is filled with just toughness and underdog grit kind of shit. Dan Quinn's kind of done that here in Washington, instilling a new culture. Like from day one, he comes in that we're going to do hard shit with good people, and bringing in all this Raise Hail, all this kind of great stuff that Quinn has brought. Raheem Morris, the same with the Falcons, has brought in a good culture change to that team. So I think that's what teams and franchises are going to look for this year. How do we change our culture? How do we build something that people truly want to be a part of, not just the players, but the fans too? So we're going to dive right in now with the great top 5 imaging, all the budget that we have, with the top 5 head coaching candidates expected by me this NFL offseason.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the 323's Top 5.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
I wonder if that "aw shit, here we go again" guy ever got to where he was supposed to be going. We always see him walking, but we never see him where he finishes. One day.
Where did he go?
These are the top 5 head coaching candidates, I believe, coming into this offseason. I got a couple of OLIs on here. My first one is the current interim head coach for the New Orleans Saints, Darren Rizzi, the Rizzler. Yeah, the Rizzler himself out there. Darren Rizzi, he has been a longtime special teams coach for the Saints, really respected by the team. They seem to be playing their hearts out for him now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him, especially as this culture guy and, well respected. I could see him getting a potential look, at least from the Saints. Jeff Hafley is the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator. Now, this is his first year with the team. I like what he's done with their defense. Their defense has been tough. They've given up some spots, but they've had other games where they held the Texans to about 60 yards on offense, which is insane to do. Strong defensive mind, and he has head coaching experience because they got him as their defensive coordinator. He was the head coach at Boston College and didn't get fired or anything, just went to Green Bay. He wanted to get into the NFL. I don't know if he wants to be a head coach again, but you have that opportunity. And final OLI, Kevin Stefanski. He is Cleveland Browns head coach. If the Browns use him as a scapegoat, which I don't think they should, I still think Stefanski is a great coach. It's not his fault what that team is. He's a 2-time coach of the year. Another team would be lucky to have him. I could put Cliff Kingsbury on this list. He's not in my top 5. He's not on my OLIs. I truly don't think Kingsbury wants to be a head coach, at least not right now. He seems like he's been enjoying being a coordinator, not having the pressure. He's said as much at the beginning of the season. Money talks, and we've seen his bachelor pad. We heard about his trip to Taiwan for his sabbatical. So who knows what money will do for him, but he could be an OLI. My number 5.
Right now.
My number 5, I have Brian Flores. Flores is defensive coordinator for the Vikings right now, but he was the former head coach for the Miami Dolphins before that flamed out and then wound up into a whole legal battle that kind of launched the show. The show kind of grew with that legal battle as he was suing the NFL for racism as to why he was fired. I think it's possible for him to learn from his mistakes as the Miami Dolphins head coach. He wasn't a terrible coach, but it seemed like he instilled a terrible culture, which if you follow the pattern of Bill Belichick disciples, that's what happens. They try to be like Belichick, and it doesn't work. Nobody can be him but him. So I think that he can learn from that, not only because he was publicly called out by his former quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa, who really talked about how Flores destroyed his mental, and that will hurt
That's
him
right.
going into some candidate spots. But you live, you learn. He has said that he's learned, and he's been coaching under Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell now for a few years, who was voted last year by players across the league as the best coach to play for. So I think he could learn a good culture change and have a good rebound with another team. I think he deserves another shot. So I got Flores here at number 5. Number 4, and it's not personal. It's not Zoo could get it. Zoo could get it. Pause. It's Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions.
Bless you.
Thank you. Shout out to that guy on YouTube. Ben Johnson is a genius on offense. He's done wonders with the Detroit Lions. He's done wonders with Jared Goff. Only issue I have with him. One, he's super picky about who he's going to be a head coach for, and you should be. If you have a good spot like the Detroit Lions and you're still trying to learn everything and you're still not confident in yourself being a head coach yet, good for him. And he kind of spurred the Washington Commanders last year. They were flying him out and everything, and he decided at the last second.
They were flying to him.
Oh, that's right. They were going to him.
They were mid-flight.
Yeah, and he told them, no, I'm not going to do it. He's super picky. And it's gonna be the right place, the right situation for him, and right money. Apparently, he seemed like he was going for a good sized contract, which is all gutsy for a first year head coach, but sounds about right. And with Johnson, the only thing that concerns me is he's got some shades of Josh McDaniels to him as the super hyped offensive coordinator, young genius kind of dude who seems to have some interesting personality traits. So I don't know how he'll shape up. I'm pretty sure he'll be a head coach after this season, but we'll see.
Given what he did with Jared Goff, it'd be interesting what he could do with Derek Carr in New Orleans.
With Derek Carr in New Orleans, or with Caleb Williams in Chicago, if he would even want to go to a division rival. He seems like the type, he's so picky. I don't know if he'd want to go against a rival team to the Lions in Dan Campbell with how loyal he's been. Number 3 on here for me, I have former Titans head coach Mike Vrabel.
Very interested to see where he ends up.
Very interested to see where he ends up. He is he's a defensive advisor for the Cleveland Browns right now. Big culture guy, really good coach, really solid coach. I couldn't blame him for the shitty season the Titans had last year. That was full on built by their GM and refusing to pay certain great players that they had. Only thing I don't like for him is if he tries to go for like some GM control kind of stuff like Ron Rivera did, like Bill Belichick had. Don't know if that's a good spot for him, but if he's going to be just a straight up head coach for a team with a good GM,
I thought maybe that's what the Jets need.
he could honestly be what the Jets need. Don't know if he'd want to go there, but he could be what they need.
Because they fired their GM, right? That was the one I said was a scapegoat.
He was the one.
I did not like that at all.
I heard a very funny story about how on the day that happened, their GM, Joe Douglas, was out on the practice field with their interim coach, Jeff Ulbrich, and the owner, Woody Johnson, landed his jet like on the field, like very visibly.
His jet?
I'm sorry, not his jet. He said jet. He landed his helicopter like right next to the practice field just to make it like super known, like, hey, I'm here. I'm Woody Johnson. I'm rich and I'm landing right here on my field. And Joe Douglas leaned over to Jeff Ulbrich and joked to him like, hey, if I get called into the office now that Woody's here, just know it was fun working with you. And they laughed about it, had a good time. And then an assistant came over and was like, Joe, Woody wants to see you in the office. Never saw him again. Yeah, rough times. Number 2, I have the guy that we've been talking about and no other reasons to give for him, Bill Belichick. Say what you want about him. Dude knows how to win and build a winning culture. I think he can do that. I think he's going to be determined and motivated to do it with a team that has at least a quarterback. and the pieces to do it. Shout out Chicago. That's where he's going, according to us. But my number one candidate, honestly, if you're looking at culture, you're looking at somebody that can work with a good front office, and I don't think it's somebody that a lot of people are thinking about. It's Aaron Glenn.
Okay.
For a name, yeah. Defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Aaron Glenn has been there for a minute. He's been a defensive mainstay in this league. He was with Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints during that time. Glenn has a lot of great personality, great leader, has fit in perfectly with Dan Campbell, who Dan Campbell has been very adamant about wanting to keep because of not only the great leadership that he's shown, but also the great defensive prowess that he is. Besides that, he's been wanting to be a head coach for a minute. Defense has steadily improved season to season there in Detroit. I think he can learn a lot on how Dan Campbell has led and built that team and do it on his own and kind of be the first big bloom from the Dan Campbell coaching tree that will show signs and, be around in the NFL for a long time. So I like Aaron Glenn, and scary spot, scary for us, of where I would like to see him land, Dallas. I actually think he could be a good coach for the Cowboys and work and fix a lot of things there and work well with somebody like Jerry Jones and build a really good team and be a kind of disciplinary but also loving figure for that team like he's shown that he is in Detroit and in New Orleans. So I hope he doesn't go there for the benefit of us. Give him Deion. Let Deion Sanders coach the fucking Dallas Cowboys. But Aaron Glenn, to me, is the number one coaching candidate.